Good morning, Brandon Hardison with another tip for you folks that are starting out into the front of the room business, waiting for this virus to finally go away so we can get back to what we do best. But right now, we're confined to this little digital space, if you will. But things are getting back slowly and eventually we will be in place. So, we have a few tips for you today. Always remember the word practice. A whole lot of people do not like that word practice, but that's the only way you're going to improve. You're in front of the room, and all of a sudden, there's a group of people out there that want to heckle you. You may look at it and say, well, that really won't happen. Well, I don't know what type of situation you may be in front of. If you speak to a portion of youth groups, some nonprofit groups. You may be at someone's party and folks have been drinking a little too much, but time to time they will come up. And you're looking at the situation that why are you doing this to me? And the people in the room, believe me, many of them don't like it either. But you're the one that's up on stage, you're the one that's in front of the room. So, how are you going to handle it? Well, very first thing, when a heckler starts going through what they do best, you must find a way really to get them from your space. How do I do that? Let them talk. Once they've talked, either you can respond, not respond. Now, if you respond, we got to have something to respond back with, and we're going to talk about that. If you're not going to respond, you done lost control of the room because now other people may feel free to start kicking in. But do not cut them off. If you cut them off, what do I mean by that? Now both of you are talking, it's going to escalate and it's going to get louder. It's going to get very uncomfortable for everyone in the room. So allow the person to speak. And once they have stopped, because now they're thinking about what they want to say next, since you did not disturb them as they were going through it, that's your opportunity to take control of the conversation. So, once again, let them say what they want to say. Don't interrupt them. Let them get it all out. And then, when there's that pause, that's when you interject and take control back of the conversation. Never, never see yourself arguing with someone while you're in front of the room. Now that brings your level down to the rest of the people in the room because we're just in this argument. So, what do I do now? I allow them to finish their thought. Once you do that, throw a question. Throw a question. Ask simply, do you have anything else to say? Just throw a question. When you do that, that person will pretty much shut themselves down and the room will shut down. Now, depending on where you're at and how it's done, you may say something like, is that all you have to say? I would stay away from that because now you open the door for him or others or her and others to come back in at you. Uh, are you finished? That would be good. But no matter what, let them finish. You get control. Once you have control, ask a question. By you asking a question now, the balls in their court again. They weren't ready for that. So they're going to think about it, they're going to stumble, they're going to mumble, and now you can start taking back control. If you're quite finished, would you let me continue? Thank you. And you'll see how the room will react. Keep in mind that you have the power of the audience. I'll say it again. You are in the front of the room. You have the power of the audience. That's your secret weapon. Remember, depending on the situation, they came at this point in time to hear you. So they're uncomfortable that someone would stop you just as you are. And if you let that person who's trying to heckle you get everything out, wait for that pause, ask a question, respond in a favorable manner with another question, and you'll watch people stumble or they'll start to giggle and laugh. No way are you going to be discredited. The audience will make sure that the heckler will be shut down. You know why? They didn't come to a comedy club. They know that. We came here to learn a piece of information from you because you're in front of the room. So that doesn't happen all that much, but when it does happen, we need to have a game plan of how we're going to move forward with that particular situation. I want you to think back, especially when you were in fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, maybe ninth grade. High school, you pretty much got it out of you, or the teachers were more prepared. But in the middle grades, remember when you would have a substitute teacher and the teacher always told you, we left the substitute some busy work, so make sure you turn it in, or there'll be something of reading that'll be on the board because the substitute's not your regular teacher. Remember those days? Sure, we do. And you were in the room, and here's the substitute trying to read or do or mock what the teacher left for them to do. Open up your books, turn to page 68, and then you start in the crowd throwing some sidebars at the person. How long have you been teaching? That shirt is nice. Anything to keep you away from what you are supposed to do. Distractions. Depending on where you're at, a training session, maybe it's a sales training group to some new hires. Keep in mind that some folks will test you. They will ask, well, tell us about you. Where did you do some of this work? All that is diversion. When you get roped into that, you're getting away from the message of what you was put there for, especially if you are getting paid to train or coach some employees and you happen to be an independent person. You can work for the company too, but you have a little bit more strength by going to your upper management and they'll make sure that's knocked down. But if you're an independent and you flew in somewhere to train some people and you see that I'm trying to train, but you find yourself way out in left field talking about sports, talking about politics, talking about your life. That's when you need to know that these folks have taken control of your class, your space at that time. So you need to realize it, get back on task as quick as possible. Now, some of this makes sense to you, and you've been in front of the room. That's great. If you're brand new, once again, do not let it get you down. Just be prepared for those hecklers. Let them speak. Once they finish with the statement, there'll be that pause. Take over with the control questions. Remember, the audience is your power. And if you have these distractors and you're trying to do some work and you see that, hey, time is moving and we're still got to cover all of this area that's up on the board in the book, you know that a certain person or a group of people in that class are purposely doing that so you cannot finish. So, once again, Brandon Hardison from Champion Strategies, always imparting. Make it a champion day.